taste for historical artefacts and rather a lot of spare cash, then a sale at Christie's in July might be of interest to you.
Items from Althorp in Northamptonshire, the ancestral home of the late Princess Diana, are being sold, and it's thought they could fetch as much as £20 million. I don't think I've got that much in my attic. Matthew Hudson's been along to see the treasures that will be on sale.
An 18th century commode with Japanese lacquered panels. Not sure how you use it, and finding out could cost you a cool £4 million. Just one of dozens of artworks from the Spencer family's Althorp estate in Northamptonshire, which will be going under the hammer at Christie's in July. This wonderful George III chair that I'm sitting on also forms part of the sale. It's expected to go for around £400,000. But if that seems a bit too much, don't be put off. You don't just get one for that money, you get 4 of them. Other lots include a French dinner service carrying an estimated price of £80,000, a pair of George III candelabra which are expected to fetch around £250,000, and masterpieces by Rubens and the Italian artist Barbieri, both worth many millions. One of Christie's extremely secure warehouses makes an incongruous setting for such wonderful works. Their coming sale is already exciting museums, collectors and dealers around the world.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and they are things which would certainly tick all the boxes from a curatorial point of view from great museums, anyone who's passionate about the decorative arts, but also I think they have broad appeal from an international perspective as well as within England. So I hope they'll go to homes where they'll be much loved.
Some of the money raised will go towards the £10 million re-roofing and restoration project currently underway at Althorp. The items going under the hammer are described as not being central to the Althorp collection. Experts are still working through the attics and cellars and stables, discovering artwork, ceramics, silver, furniture and other treasures, many of which haven't seen the light of day for decades, if not centuries. Matthew Hudson, Anglia News, Christie's in London.
Beautiful.
It would be lovely to have all that stuff in your attic. I think there's so much junk in my attic that actually it's the only thing that's holding the roof up.
Oh, really? I think I've got old baby equipment in mine. Might get 150 quid for it.
I've got old 80s computers, and some of those do raise a little bit on eBay, but I don't think mine's in very good condition. But
now, how do you fancy getting your hands on a giant cheque for £50,000?
It's People's Millions time again, and the Big Lottery Fund and ITV have once again teamed up to give away 5 grants to worthy causes. Here's Alpa Patel with all the details.
That you won.
People's Millions is back, and we're giving away 5 awards of £50,000. This year, we want projects that get people involved in their local community, help those who are most in need, and are original and imaginative. You can apply if you are a voluntary group, local authority, school, health body or social enterprise. And here's how you can receive an entry pack. Call 0845 010 11 12. Calls cost a maximum of 4p per minute, plus an additional 9.3p set-up fee from a BT residential landline. Calls from other networks may be higher, and from mobiles will be considerably more. Visit www.itv.com/People's Millions, or for those with a hearing impairment, text phone on 0845 602 1659. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 14th of May 2010 at midday. Calls made after the closing time will not be counted but may still be charged. This is your chance to make the effort and make a difference.
Good luck with that. Get filling in the forms. Next tonight, the high-flying hero from Essex who became a wartime poster pin-up.
But these posters, they did have a serious message to make sure Allied secrets weren't accidentally given away to enemy spies.
Well, 70 years on, the posters and one of their stars are being admired by a new audience. And Lorna Ramsey is at the Imperial War Museum at Duxford for us tonight to tell us all about it. Lorna.
The Second World War continues to fascinate and intrigue us, and thousands of people come here to the Imperial War Museum at Duxford to look at the aircraft that shaped our history. But I've been speaking to one veteran from Essex who took part in many of those battles 70 years ago, one of which nearly ended his flying career before it began. And it was that one that made him a poster pin-up in Britain's darkest hour. It's 1940, and Britain is fighting for its very survival. The dangers of the front line were obvious, but on the home front, it was thought gossiping girlfriends could cost lives too. So the government released these posters to remind people to keep mum. And the dashing young airman in this one is now 91-year-old Ian Blair from Brentwood in Essex.
I think I look a handsome type, considering it's. Well, I suppose I haven't changed all that much over the years, in spite of. It's quite old, actually. Now, 40 or 60 odd years old. I think I've worn pretty well. I've still got my own teeth. It's something.
Ian would eventually go on to fly Spitfires like this one, but when the picture on the poster was taken, he didn't have any flight experience at all. But he had to learn pretty quickly during one flight when the pilot he was with was shot and killed in mid-air. Ian was an observer-navigator flying with a pilot over North Africa when their Blenheim bomber, similar to this one, was attacked. He tells me he still has the blood-stained flight log he made that day.
Our aircraft was attacked, and one shot hit the aircraft, which unfortunately went through the pilot and killed him. And the pilot slumped forward on the controls, and the aircraft went into a screaming dive, which was. And when I realised what had happened, we had to sort of extricate ourselves from the situation. So I manipulated the controls and managed to point the aircraft in a northerly direction. I successfully got it down. I suppose it was a bit of overconfidence, but I felt that I could do it, and it worked out all right in the end.
And his daring earned him the Distinguished Flying Medal and a starring role in the poster, which was among a collection of more than 100 that were auctioned last week. They fetched a total of £25,000.
The photograph was taken the day after this incident by the PR people, and when I arrived back in UK in the latter part of 41, beginning of 42, when I went into the post office at Bournemouth, I was confronted by this poster as we see it today, and I was quite amused at it.
He was an honoured guest at the RAF's 90th birthday celebrations 2 years ago when he was introduced to the Queen. At the age of 91, Ian shows no signs of slowing down. He still tours the country giving PowerPoint presentations about his wartime experiences. He has so many to share, but one of his most popular is the time he became a pin-up 70 years ago. Lorna Ramsey, Anglia News, Brentwood.
91.
He's incredible, isn't he?
He's still very dashing,
Indeed.
isn't he?
Finally tonight, if I asked you what image springs to mind when I say the word spring, I bet many of you would say...
Lambs.
Lambs.
Yes, well, one has been born at a farm in Suffolk, proving that small really is beautiful. Here she is. Oh, that's Matilda. She's a tiny Ouissant ewe. I hope I've said that right. She's among the smallest breed of lamb in the world, originating from a tiny island just off the coast of France, hence the French name.
Tiny island, tiny lamb. You can see how small she is compared to some of the other lambs that have been born recently at Balham House Rare Breeds Farm near Ipswich. And I'm sure all of them are really wondering what all the fuss is about.
Oh, there they are. I've been to that farm before. In fact, I took my two boys to hold the lambs recently, as you can see here. Now, look at the size of those lambs on their laps. They weren't that much different in age to little Matilda, so you can see the difference in size. In fact, those lambs fell asleep for about half an hour. We were there for ages.
So who's more cute, the lambs or the little boys? They're lovely, aren't they?
You can't ask me that.
My twins are cuter. Cuter?
Cuter. Now, our news hour continues in just a few minutes. Here's what to expect on the national news.
Coming up on the ITV News at 6:30, Blair's back. With only weeks to go until the election, Labour have called in their most successful campaign pro to boost support. But is he still a vote winner? Also back in the spotlight, Heather Mill.
Time for the weather now. Here's the cute Rachel Mackley.
The Anglia weather.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening. That's all for tonight. We will be back tomorrow, of course.
Now, about these twins. So
Mine are
girls,
cuter.
girls
Boys
are
are
definitely,
cuter.
no, definitely girls, definitely girls. Good night.